Hi guys, it's Kat here from Knit Cat Paddywhack. I've got a super easy beginner knitting tutorial for you today. I'm going to show you how to make this garter stitch headband, and you only need very basic knitting skills to make it. So if you can cast on, do the knit stitch and cast off, then you should be able to make this headband in an evening, and I'm going to show you how to make it fit your head perfectly. I will link down below some tutorials for those basic knitting skills if you are brand new to knitting. So keep watching if you want to find out how to make this headband, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. For this project you're going to need some yarn. Choose a double knitting or 8-ply weight yarn with a little bit of stretch. I chose a yarn called Marvel Soft, which is acrylic, and it is made by Spotlight Australia. You're also going to need a tape measure, some knitting needles. Go for 4mm knitting needles if you're unfamiliar with your tension or gauge. Some good craft scissors, and you're also going to need a calculator and a tapestry needle. So to start off with, you're going to be measuring your head with your tape measure. Measure around where you want the headband to sit. And then you're going to do a little calculation. So you're going to multiply your measurement with 0.8. And that will give you 4/5 the length of your head, and that is what you want because this is going to stretch quite a bit. So we're going to start off by casting on. So you want to leave a fairly long tail of at least 30 centimeters or so, I'd say, and you can cast on however you like. I'm just demonstrating here the backwards loop cast on, which I've done a tutorial for. It's a really simple cast on if you're a beginner. So you basically just do loops around the knitting needle. I will put a tutorial down below for how to do this cast on. But I'm going to be doing the long tail cast on because that's my favorite cast on and it's nice and stretchy. So we're going to be casting on 15 stitches for this project. Okay, so now that I've cast on, I can start knitting. So all I'm going to do is knit in garter stitch. So that means I do the knit stitch for every single stitch of this project. And as I keep knitting, I'm going to keep an eye on the length of my headband and stop when it gets to the length that I worked out earlier, which is 4/5 the length of the head circumference that I measured. So now that my headband is the length that I want it to be, I can cast off. So I'll put the tutorial for how to cast off in the description below, but it's just a simple cast off, and once I've done that I can sew my headband together. Okay, so an important step here is I'm going to leave a very long tail from my cast on. I would go for 3 meters just to be safe. You may need less than that, but this is going to be used for doing the little knot. That's the feature of this headband. So cut a very long tail and pass that through the last live stitch to finish off your knitting. And the next step is to seam it. So you take your tail from the cast on, thread your tapestry needle, and we're just going to do a whip stitch. So that's very simple. All we're doing is passing our needle through the very top of the cast on and the cast off and just doing loops around the top, going further down the row. And once I've finished with my seaming, the next step is to weave in ends, and I'll find a tutorial for you down below and put it down below in the description. But I'm basically just weaving through a few of the stitches just to secure that tail, and then going back the same way for a couple more stitches, and then I can just cut it off very short. Now I actually lost my footage for how to do the next step, so I'm demonstrating on the other side of the headband, but just know that you're going to be doing this around the seam that you did. So we take our very long tail and tie a butterfly. I'll put a tutorial in the description, but we just wrap the yarn around our fingers several times, starting at the start of the tail, and then we just leave a little bit to secure that loop that we did and just tie it up. And what that does is it makes a center pull ball. So as we wrap the yarn around our headband, it's got to come off really easily. We don't have to unroll it every time. We can just pull it around. So the next step is to bunch up our headband. I like to do it quite neatly in a concertina style, like how you would make a paper fan. And all I'm doing here is just wrapping this very long tail around the headband. And like I say, you'll be doing this around the seam, but my camera messed up and I lost my footage, so this is just me demonstrating how to do it. So you can make it as wide as you like and as thick as you like. I'm making mine about 1 inch, maybe a little bit less in width. And to make this look as good as possible, you want to make all of the strokes, all of the wraps be parallel to each other, so straight up and down, and that will give you the neatest finish. So once you have the little knot to the thickness that you want, you're just going to secure it at the back of the headband by tucking it into the wraps that you were doing. And you would usually leave a longer tail than I have, but I was just working with a small length of yarn that I already had, so that's why mine is so short. But all you're going to do is thread it onto your tapestry needle and weave in the end just as you did with the seam. And then once you have woven in the end, you can actually hide it back inside the knot, which I'm going to show you in a second. So you just pull your tapestry needle through that little knot that you did and then just pull the tail tight and cut it off, and it's hidden inside that knot. Okay, and there you have it. You have finished your headband. I hope that you enjoy it. And I'll link down below a free PDF for this pattern, which you can find on my blog, knitcatpaddywhack.com. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting my new channel. And please don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it.